So here's kind of the setup here. See, I've got the 5mm laminate that you can get from Scotch, I think is who sells it. It's like $10 for a pack. I can't really remember. You can get it off Amazon. And then you got the actual machine here. It's real compact, as you can see. Like, it comes out, I mean, it's a waterproofed board basically that you can just leave out in the woods and don't have to worry about anything bad happening to it, because you never know how long it seems like these things are going to be laying out there. It could be a day or months or something like that before they get touched. I remember one time up in the Croatan, it was I think a solid 2-3 months I went without pictures getting touched, or at least I thought. I came to realize that because they were buried right under the ground, they were covered in soil and leaves and stuff like that, so you couldn't see them. And well, one day I finally went up there. I got it on video, and I just broke them out just to see what was going on. And of course they were in the wrong order, so they had been actually getting them out of the ground, going through them, looking at them, and then stacking them back up and putting them right back under exactly where I'd left them. And I just never thought to check on that. So that's definitely a thing. But yeah, this thing works like a charm. It's fairly cheap. It's a really good way to get some remote interactions, and it's like you can come up with your own picture ideas. Basically, my thing was, if I'm a person like a cavemanish or kind of deal that lives out in the woods and I don't have access to the internet, or traveling, or I'm afraid to be around people too, but I'm curious about them, what stuff that would really blow my mind. And so it's here's some old medieval art of a woodwose. There's that. Let's see here. Yeah, see, like that. I mean, that's just, you know, a woman and her kid sitting next to probably a solid 700-pound grizzly bear. It's like they know what bears are. Around here we only have black bear. I think about as big as they get is about 500 pounds. So, you know, stuff like that seems to get a lot of activity. But so that's the actual laminating machine. Here's the printer. So this is what I use. You don't want to do HP or some of these like Lexmark makers like that, because of the way they handle ink refills. So what they do is, you'll get the printer for cheap, right? Of course you will. But then you're going to get these tiny little ink cartridges that cost 2-3 times as much as what everybody else's does, and you absolutely cannot use any off-brand ink, especially with the HP ones. You can't hack those things at all, or at least it's very difficult to, or to even refill them, because they have these little computer chips on the actual cartridges that prevent you from doing that. It's a total money racket. It's crap, and I think it's really just highway robbery. But if you go with Canon, you're never going to hardly go wrong. It has, you know, obviously excellent print quality for photos. My favorite printer that I've had this thing probably since 2016, just at using it for hundreds and hundreds of pictures. And it's never failed me. It's the Canon, where's the name of it? I know it's on here. Yeah, the Pixma MX922, and it's a fairly cheap printer. The ink, I don't have to get Canon's ink, right? Because Canon doesn't do that stuff that the other manufacturers do. They don't care. You buy the printer, you pay a little more up front, but then you don't have to worry about, you know, who you get the ink from. So like lately I just been trying out these guys, Easy Ink. You just get on Amazon, you type in like, you know, MX922 ink, and look for some of these third-party guys, and you can get this. Like, I think this box, a whole box full of colored ink, was $10, and this will last me for months probably of hard printing. I've used these guys before too. For years I was using them, but I'm not sure that they're around anymore, or at least that they're the cheapest option. But again, $20 pack. I mean, this thing is just stuffed full of quality ink. And so that's one plus that a Canon printer has, right? So another plus that people don't really think about, right? I mean, this thing does basically everything. It faxes, not that anybody faxes anymore. It's got a scanner built into it. Let's see here, I'll wait till these move. So something also that I've noticed with HP printers is trying to take them apart for maintenance, or trying to do even very basic level maintenance on them is impossible. Like, it's just totally impossible. Getting replacement parts, they're so expensive. It's not made to last, right? That's not the purpose behind it. So let's say you print 100 pages off, and then for 3 months you just never touch the thing again. What's going to happen is that I guess it's called the print head, which is back in here. I'm not going to take, actually I'm going to do it. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to take these out. You don't want to put them, they leak, so you want to put them on paper. That's why I got paper right here. So I'm going to take these bad boys out. Alright, so I've got those out, and check this out. So this, you got to read the instructions on it, but push that down, this pops out, just a little bit of muscle on it, and then you reach back up in here and you can actually pull that print head. It's made to come out. HP printers, as far as what I've dealt with them, I've worked IT for a long time, unless you've got a huge, multi-$1,000 MFD, this does not come out. Like, this is built hardcore, bolted into the actual printer. And so, like I was saying, this is what actually is putting all the ink down on your paper, right? This thing is super important, and it's also super flaky. So let's say I walk away from this thing for 3 months, this is going to get clogged. That ink that's in there will dry. It's going to happen. So with an HP printer, now you have to throw that printer away, period. That printer's trash now. But with this Canon printer, all I have to do is just take that thing up there and run hot water over those little holes. So I'll run it over those for a little bit, watch the ink out the bottom here, these little slots it comes out, and then I'll turn it over and I'll push the water back in through that, just let the water basically rinse over top of it for a couple of minutes, and I'm good. I'm back up printing perfect quality pictures like it's nothing. So that's my, oops, every time I touch one of these things I get a little ink on me, which is a good thing it's non-toxic, right? You think I'd wisen up and start using gloves. But yeah, so that's my spiel. I've done this for a long time. I've never had any problems. It's a really cheap, effective way to do things. And obviously I swear by the Canon printers, and they still make these. Oh, there it goes. I'll make sure the light's on. They still make these Pixma printers. And this goes back in, don't want to forget that. This goes up, that goes down. That's all there is to it. And I'll spend maybe $10 a month if I'm printing a lot of pictures. And I've not even really explored what else that thing can do. I've never had problems with it. It hooks up to Wi-Fi, you can do Ethernet, USB, whatever you want to do. Scan quality on it is really awesome. So yeah, see here, we're ready to go again. So I'll just grab another little sheet here. I definitely do recommend going for the 5mm over the 3mm. The 3mm is just a little too flimsy. And one thing you will notice, so whenever you leave this stuff out, don't leave it in the same spot that you leave food, right? That's not saying that animals are going to come up and mess with it because they're used to coming up and messing with food in that specific spot. You're doing that for the same reason that you're going out deep into the forest and setting up your stuff or camping there to get interactions or something like that. That's not because that's where they're at. That's because you need to be able to rule out the human element and also, in this case, the animal element of things, right? You got to be able to, you're basically just trying to, you got to be able to prove to yourself, what you're experiencing, because this stuff will drive you crazy all day long. But somebody could try setting up camera traps around, especially night vision camera traps. and see if you can get anything. I don't have a whole lot of money right now. I've been working on getting a GoPro, the new GoPro, you know, it's like 5K 60 frames a second or some crazy stuff like that, and you can get like night vision that attaches to it. It's super awesome. And then of course it goes on my head. That's what I used to use one, but I ended up giving it away. Yeah, so one thing you'll notice is that the pictures, sometimes they'll have bite marks. Like you'll see it in some of my videos, like they'll bite it, they'll shred them and stuff like that. The 5mm, it helps protect it in case something's nibbling on it. I can't prove what's nibbling on it. Whatever it is, it's got pretty good sized teeth, like coyote sized teeth or whichever. Yeah, so I can't rule it out. This turned out to be a really good way to collect hairs, including like the bulb at the end of the hair, because what happens is that when they're looking at the pictures, I've noticed they obviously their arms moving across it to touch it. Well, if the picture is wet, if this material that this stuff's made of is wet, it's kind of sticky, you know, to hair, and the hair will pull out and it'll get left on there and it'll stick to it. So I've got, actually, it's down here with me. It's in a container, just a whole envelope full of these long black hairs. I mean, some of them are 6-7 inches long. They're, you know, thicker, it looks like, than humans, but other than that, you know, it looks like one of ours. It's always black or white hairs, I've noticed. I have seen white hairs a few times. I've not caught anything else. I don't know, I guess it's hard for me to say, because the third one I saw was bright red, and the first one also. I mean, the first one I saw was almost like almost like the color of that boxing glove right there. And he was a bright cardinal red, and then the second one was maybe just a little darker than that. The third one was that color. The first one was bright red. That was in Virginia. The second one was also in Virginia. That was blonde. It was a female, and it was right next to me. And then the third one was red. So I've not actually seen very, very, very well a black colored one, but I have seen like black blurs running from me. Like in the Coyotes, I had that happen on the first day that I was up there. So I guess I've seen black ones, yeah, because what else could it have been? Bears don't just lay next to people and wait for you to turn around and look at them and then dart off like a literally lightning striking. Bears are not that fast at all. Yeah, that's my ADHD spiel though on the Scotch. That's probably the most effective thing I've ever done out in the woods as far as getting interactions when I'm not there, right? Because you'll have the stuff, you know, you can bury it, you can do whatever you want, and they're going to see you do it. Just go ahead and get in that mindset that they're always watching, and work off of that, and pay attention. Like, so you'll notice when I'm videoing it, like I video like, here's this one, here's this, you know, like I'm really methodical about video and what order that I put it in, because like I said, you're gonna run into it. They're gonna bring it out, they're gonna put it back, but it's gonna be in the wrong order, and unless you know exactly what order you put it in, you're not gonna catch it. So I guess really what it boils down to is that it's a really good way for people that don't trust them to go out and get interactions. You know, so a lot of people, it's like I've said before, most researchers don't want anything to do with them in person. Most people don't ever, they're involved in this community or they're involved with Bigfoot, they don't ever want to actually see one. They want those things far away, but they're still curious and they still want to get interactions and information and stuff like that, and this is a really good way to do that. And also this is a good way to just check and see, I guess, if they are in an area. It's like, obviously you can have several different spots, but if you work 40 hours a week or whatever it is like I do, well, you might not have time to go out, you know, every month and check all those different spots that you got. We could just leave this stuff out there and it'll be kind of like an alarm, like, hey, something messed with this. That's kind of a way that can be used too. So there we go.